guys. So just thought today that we would go for a little bit of a hip opening, a little bit of mobility. So this can be used as a bit of a warm-up to anything that you're doing in terms of cardio or circuit or anything like that, or it can just generally sort of be used for like hips and open up the hips, which in terms of squash obviously helps like us get into those deep lunges, and it helps us, you know, hold the stability. So firstly you need to have the ability to lunge into those deep positions, which like the hip opening do, increasing flexibility within the hip joint. And secondly, you need to be strong enough to hold those positions once you've got them. So it's a little bit of a working with both. So today I thought that we'd just go through some hip openings and some mobility, generally working around the hips, glutes, lower back, that sort of thing. Yeah, I used to do this when I was playing before pretty much every session. So just thought it'd be really useful, and you know, even if you're not quite feeling like a cardio, you know, tough session, even just getting down, watching a bit of TV, doing a few of these exercises is a really good idea, just to keep those hips open and loose when, if we're sat all day or we're not moving much, then obviously that's something that can really make a difference to keeping loose. So the first one we're going to do is called a 90-90. It's a hip opener, like I just said, most of them will be. So what you're looking for is on your mat, you're looking to get yourself into a position where your knee is at 90 degrees. So in your shin should be parallel to your body, and the opposite shin should be sort of horizontal. So you're looking at a 90-degree bend in both knees, and then we're simply going to go around 5 times, and you lean over the front of the shin, over the side of what would be the quad muscle, and then you're going to reach back towards and over the back foot, and we're just going to go around that 5 times. And then we're going to switch sides. So again, front shin in front of you, in front of your body, 90-degree angle for the front and for the back leg. And we're just going to go over the front, over the side, and then reach back towards the back leg. I mean, most people, myself included, will probably just feel that even in that 90-90 position without the leaning over. So, you know, just get over as far as you can. If the lean itself is actually only kind of to there rather than right down, then that's fine, and we're just going to work on keep getting that more open. So that was the first exercise, 90-90s. So the next progression from that, if you feel like you can progress from that, is getting back into your 90-90 position. It's actually a reach forward over the front shin, so knees in 90-90, and then if you can, you're going to move the hips over and across, and preferably without using the hands. So if you can't do it without using the hands, obviously put the hands down behind you, and then you're going to reach over that shin. You're going to rock over, if you can, with the hands in front, rock over and reach over that shin. If it's too hard, put your hands down behind, reach back, or if you can do it like that. So we're just going to do 10 of those. So hips should be feeling a little bit more open now, which is exactly what we're looking for. And that was the 90-90 with rock over. So the next exercise is going to be a thoracic twist, and so it's a really good one, I felt like, for squash, for really warming us up through the back and the mid-spine. So if you come onto all fours and you put your leg out, whichever leg it is, out to the side, so it's 90 degrees out from the hip, and you're just going to have the hand flat down in front of you. You're going to reach under that arm and twist up. And you're really thinking about kind of getting into that like lower back hip range, just twisting as far as you possibly can. Just going to do 10, so this is 9, and then the last one is 10. And then we're going to switch legs. So now other leg out, stretch in line with the hip, hand flat, and reach under the other arm and twist up. So you should always be twisting open to the same side of the leg that's out to the side. That's 10. So that was our thoracic lower back opener with a focus on the hips. So my back and my hips are definitely feeling a little bit more loose now. The next one we're going to do is called a hip break and a hip rock. So again, just looking to get back into the hips. And it's very simply in a similar position to the one that we were just in, with the hip out to the side. So the foot should be in line with the knee. The knee should be at a right angle here, and the foot should be pointing directly away from you. So not forward and not back, but just straight away from you. And you're just going to simply rock into that adductor right there. And it doesn't take much, and you'll really feel it sort of getting into that hip and adductor area. I'm just going to do 10 on this side as well. One more. And then we're going to switch sides. So switch over onto the other knee, foot points away, foot level with the knee, 90 degrees with the knee that's out, and we're just going to rock into that for 10. So as much as you can, trying to keep the hips facing forward. It's 5. Last one. So those are called hip rocks, and with a focus on the hips and adductor. The other variation of that one, which we're going to do, is just a straight hip rock or a hip break, where the foot is going to come straight out in front of you. So 90-degree angle again with there, so the knee shouldn't be coming over your foot, and it shouldn't be sort of leaning back away from the foot. And you're just going to simply, from the back knee, drop into it for 10. And you should feel that right down the front here. And when you've done 10, just going to switch legs. That's 8. And I think it's quite normal as well just to feel the differences on both sides. For me, the right's always a little bit tighter. Maybe because I'm a little bit more dominant on that leg, so everything gets a little bit more tight. So it's really important to kind of open them up in the same sort of way. So that was our rotation round, a hip rock and a hip break. So one little version of kind of a hip opener, which is a little bit more subtle, but if you are tight in the hips, you'll really feel it. So sometimes I do this, I don't feel it loads, it doesn't get really into my hips, but then other days when I am a little bit tight, and I don't even realise it sometimes it really, really kind of gets into those hips. So it's internal hip rotation, and what you're going to do is come down and lay on your back, ideally with the feet kind of wider than the mat, so you're really going wider than sort of hip width at this point, and you're just going to lay back, and you're simply going to just rock the knees into each other. So if you are tight, you're going to really feel that on the outer hip. So that was 15 of those, just nice and slow. Definitely did feel it around the outer hip, so it must be a little bit tight. And so those were our internal hip rotations. So the next variation we're going to do is into a downward dog for those yogis out there. So for anyone who doesn't know what a downward dog is, it's kind of an upside down V, hands flat on the floor, feet on the floor behind, and you're going to create a V shape. From that position, we're going to come through with the front leg into sort of what they would call in yoga a half pigeon, and you're going to try and get the leg as at a right angle as much as you possibly can. I can't get mine into a full right angle, and if your hips are tight, then you're probably going to struggle to get the leg kind of open and parallel at all, and that's fine. So it's just as far as you can go, but it's a downward dog position coming through into a glute stretch. Again, really good for the glutes and the hips. So if from your mat, you come down into a downward dog position, so the feet are on the floor, the hands are on the floor, and you're just going to simply come from there and bring the leg through into a right angle, and then push back up. So we're going to do 10. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's a great exercise as well, because you'll really feel it working the shoulders and the arms while you try to get some good stability going through. So really good exercise for the hips and the arms as well. So on top of that, for a variation, we're going to do the press up and lunge change and rotate, building into a rock back as well. So we're going to be in a press up position, and from there we're going to bring our foot forward. Now this one does take a little bit more range, so if you haven't got brilliant range, then maybe this is the one to leave out. It's a little bit more advanced and you have to have hip range to swing the leg through, but if you can get your foot there, it's a really good one. So we're going to do a few variations of this. So you're simply starting in a press up position, and if you can, you're going to swing your leg forward and on the outside of your hands, and then from there back to the press up position and swing the opposite leg. So it's a real hip opener, and you have to have really good range in your feet. If you can't get your foot probably at least partly in line with your hand, then it's going to be tough for you. But give it a go. You want your foot in line somewhere with the hand. And then from there, we're going to add in a rotation. So turn into the inside of the knee, both hands back down, and then to the other side. Last one. And if you're getting that right, you should start to get your foot a little bit more in line with the hand each time, and it's a real good one for the hip opening and back rotation as well. So the next progression of that is into the same position, foot comes forward, we're going to elbow drop if we can. If you can only get your elbow to there, or there, or there, that's fine, but if you can touch the floor, that's great. And then we're going to rock back as far as we can with the hamstring. You'll really feel it into this part of the leg. Now I'm going to come back and then put the other leg forward. Elbow drop, rock back, and that's 2. Elbow drop, rock back, elbow drop, rock back, and that's 3. 4 or 8 if we count both sides. 9, last one, and 10. So there you've got press up with lunge change with a rotation, an elbow drop and a rock back. So a few variations of that to build on and try to work on getting that foot further forward. So that was the mobility session for today. Hope you enjoyed it. There's absolutely no reason why you can't do that a little bit quicker than what I just took you through and then do it again. So 2 rotations of that will be amazing and you'll certainly feel more open the second time round. So give it a go and let me know what you think.